Mariners lose 2-0. They fall to 72 and 71 on the season, and the series against the Cardinals is split. Let's go over the scoring play. Pedro Pages homers to left to score Jordan Walker. And yes, it is Pages. It's not Pages. I looked it up. And I knew it from Andy Pages, a pretty interesting outfielder for the Dodgers. I'm not going to sugarcoat you and just go, look, we always start with the positives, right? And there's one really obvious positive, that Logan Gilbert was fantastic. He made 2 mistakes. He hits Jordan Walker and he leaves a slider to Pages. A little too high. Outside of that, phenomenal. But I don't have any desire to sugarcoat you. I just watched the network, the state-run network that is Root Sports, and I have no interest in doing that. You all know how good Logan Gilbert is. You know that Logan Gilbert shoved. You know that Logan Gilbert deserves a lot better than this crap shack of an offense. He's great. He pitched great. It didn't matter because, well, we'll talk about it. But first, a reminder to check out simplyseattle.com and use code MOLLYWOP15, MOLLYWHOP15. Saves 15% on your order. Great deal from great people. Can't recommend them enough. Link in the description. Again, MOLLYWHOP15. Goodness gracious. And simplyseattle.com. If you can't spell like me, go to the item, the video description will help you. Can you tell I really don't want to do this right now? Now, look, I am one of those poor souls who has grown up a Notre Dame fan. So today's been rough. I wasn't surprised. I've seen years of this. Notre Dame has high expectations. Huskies won. Just as big a Husky fan. I'm allowed to root for as many college football teams as I want. Shut up. Yeah, you tell them, Molly. Anyway, so I'm a little cranky anyway. But watching this offense waste another brilliant start is just crushing me. Just absolutely crushing me. And again, I'm not surprised. I've seen this a lot. The Mariners had 3 good offensive days in a row. Are you kidding me? There's no way they were going to have a fourth. I was just hoping that they could have, enough to get the win. Nope. And with this loss, and with the Astros just beating the goodness gracious every swear word out of the I wish they were beating the Astros. Beating the Diamondbacks, 5.5 games. You got to make up 5.5 games. And for all intents and purposes, you got to make up 6 with 19 to go. That's making up a lot of ground in a very small amount of time. I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can do it at all. They're only 4.5 games back of the wild card, but guess what? Tigers are ahead of you now, and the Red Sox are ahead of you now. I don't think they can do that. So there's that negative from a long-term perspective, on top of the fact that, goodness gracious, this offense was abysmal. Now, I will say this. I liked seeing Julio in the leadoff spot today and still believe that's his best spot. I've gone over it ad nauseum. My Twitter DMs are open if you want to know why I think Julio belongs in the leadoff spot. But just to answer it real quickly, it's where he's put up his best numbers. It's where he's looked the most comfortable. He gets a hit to lead off the game and then stinks to high heaven for the rest of it. So, didn't really matter where he was going to hit today. He just didn't have a good day. Big Jumper was the only guy today to get multiple hits. Everybody after Rosarina, look, Julio does get 1 hit. Cal gets 2. Rosarina gets the double. Everybody after that was atrocious. And I know they draw 5 walks off of Kyle Gibson. You get shut out by Kyle Gibson. Congrats to him, by the way, on 1,500 strikeouts. You could make the joke about how many of those were Seattle Mariners today, and by the way, the answer is 9. But I understand 5 walks. Just way too passive today. Just way too passive, way too analytical of an approach today. And I'm not an anti-analytic guy whatsoever. But today they looked like they were just looking to go up there and walk. And when they did swing, they were bad. 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. You know, even if the Mariners somehow do this, even if the Mariners somehow are able to make up either 4.5 games and leapfrog 3 teams to win the wild card, or somehow come back from 5.5 games in 19 left against the Astros, even if that happens, if you're Jerry DiPoto and you're watching this, if you don't think you need to make sweeping changes to this offense, then you and I very much disagree, because there's just too many failures. Let me tell you where I think you can just go ahead and not upgrade, right? Or I'll understand if I'm going to assume Randy Rosarina is going to be back here, even though it hasn't gone particularly great. I think that's one of the reasons why you make the trade. He's your left fielder. Julio is your center fielder. Victor Robles, and he wasn't in the lineup today and they missed him, I think is your right fielder. JP Crawford is going to be your shortstop because that's just going to happen. By the way, he was atrocious today. Atrocious. As bad as any Seattle Mariner today, and they were all pretty bad outside of Logan Gilbert. Love you, Logan Gilbert. He's going to be your shortstop. He should be your second baseman next year, in my humble estimation. But you better be looking to upgrade, and catcher, obviously, big dumper. If you're not looking to upgrade at third base, one of the middle infield positions, first base, designated hitter, and honestly, improving something in the outfield as well is well within reason. Make Victor Robles your fourth outfielder. You are I'm out of words, man. You had better make this team better next year. And here's the thing. You've shown me no evidence over the last few off seasons that you can. You showed me a smidgen at this deadline. And you showed me a smidgen at a deadline a couple of years ago. But either not making moves or making the wrong moves has been readily apparent. Your pitching staff has carried you and has saved your job, probably. Well, I don't know that for sure, because I think John Stanton just loves what you're doing, dude. Fix it. The fact you've been given this long of leash, and you still haven't built a championship contending team. It's not good enough. And you're going to be back next year. And I'd like to think, and I think you shouldn't even take this. Hopefully, you're not even watching this, if I'm being honest. But if you are, Jerry, I think that, number one, congratulations. Congratulations on keeping your job and not having to move and staying in a community. But number two, I hope you see it as an opportunity to really do something here. Because, and I mentioned this when the season started, because there are so many things to fill, it creates opportunity. because there's so few places that you just can't improve. So go do it. And yes, I'm talking about this on September 7th when they're technically still in a playoff hunt. But if you don't watch games today, like today, and think, I have a responsibility to the fans of the Seattle Mariners, to the pitchers of the Seattle Mariners, to the hitters of the Seattle Mariners, to make this team better, then you and I operate at very different wavelengths, my friend. Because I can't deal with this another year. Last year wasn't so bad. 88 wins. You were in playoff contention literally until the final day. Then you have that press conference. And then you have that off season. There's already talk about financial issues next year. I realize you've been saddled with a bad owner. But you got to get creative then, dude. And you got to find a way to not waste this pitching staff again next year. And I'll be honest with you, ain't no guarantee you get the same pitching staff next year. Mariners have been extremely fortunate with their health the last couple of years, outside of Robbie Ray. And, Brian Wu dealt with a little bit of stuff, but go look at other teams. The Mariners have been extremely fortunate in that regard. So you can't guarantee that pitching staff. So you got to make this offense even better. Just ticks me off. I'm going to go watch replays of the Husky game. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Really appreciate your support. Can't believe I have to say it again. But yes, I can. What a waste.